Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of the Ten Shadows podcast. With me here is Frankie, but I believe he's going to be doing no miking a lot. So it'll mostly be me doing the talking. Would you like to introduce yourself, Frankie?
Better to see y'all again. Dio's ready to eat up some new lore for us today. Pretty excited.
WW, definitely. So what we're going to be handling today are the elite sternritters above the sternritters deductively. It seems a little bit weird to be phrasing like that because like one would expect the elites sternritters to be above sternritters, like if they're named like that. Well, let's get into why they are actually above, and then we'll go there onto the next part of it, which is the interesting part. So why the elite guards the strongest? Well, in the manga, we get this statement as a volume statement that Ewok and his strongest warriors head toward the Royal Palace to face off against the Squad Zero. The issue with this statement, though, is that Ewok brings a bunch of soldiers with him and a non-Stone Ritter, a non-elite Stone Ritter up there as well, Neanzel. So this statement here is actually very vacuous. But we can get there that they are the strongest because of Ewok does the whole Schwallen. This uses all the Sternritters below ground and use their lives and their powers to resurrect the Sternritters above the elites. That's like one narrative argument for why they are. And the other one is he states it explicitly. He goes, York says, "Oh, my Zoldaters, which is technically the Soldats now in the anime, our Zoldater warriors you know, will be enough against Rio's holy soldiers. Then against you people, he says, my elite guard will be your opponents. My royal guard will be your opponents." So like, there's a decent enough evidence here that the elite guard are supposed to be blatantly above the other Sternritters, the royal guard. Now, unfortunately, the case is not necessarily deductively true because we have feats from the lower Sternritters on even the successor Jugerum. Jugerum is supposed to be like the strongest, as stated by like the successor statements in both the data books and by his own statement that like basically he's like, oh, if you were named the successor, none of the Sternritters would disagree with this. I'll get those statements off. Uh, let's get all those up. Like Basby heavily implies that like Jurgrim is like meant to be above all of them. Like that's definitely the case for Basby. That's what he definitely implies. And then Askin also explicitly states that he should be the next emperor. And this next set of scans. I'll probably be constructing this into an actual video later, so if it feels a little bit disorientated, because this is a live stream, the video format's gonna be a lot more constructive. Oh, hi Alex.
Yo,
How you doing?
a bit sleepy, but I'm okay.
Nice, nice, nice. Would you like to introduce your sleepy self to the stream?
Yeah.
Usually it's Raid who's the sleepy one.
Yeah, since Ray's not here, I'm going to be the sleepy person of this call.
W, just straight up W.
That's the introduction.
Yeah. Beautiful introduction. Especially considering Ray's probably asleep right now, probably.
Ironically enough.
Yeah, so Jugram is meant to be the successor, and because of this, he's like meant to be above the other, all the rest of the other Stone Ritters, and should also be above the Royal Guard, but that doesn't necessarily imply that explicitly. And then Uru gets named successor over him. But
And everyone
those,
throws pitchforks.
yeah, 100%. Now the issue with Jurum having his successor statement is that like Kane Deer is able to perform to block his attack. His Blade of Judgment. Like he could be holding back in this per se, but the issue with this is the phrase Blade of Judgment. Is that judgment heavily implies a, because this goes into like a heavy fortune and misfortune thing. The part of Jugram's ability is that a misfortune or a calamity viewed as divine punishment is a definition of judgment. So you can't necessarily assume that this is like a weak attack he's doing here. And this is especially evident because afterwards, Jugram to kill Kane Do, he uses his Grift. So like while Jugram can be above them, he still claps them, but they're still able to do things. They're not necessarily die instantly.
Not gonna lie, that scene was so weird because I felt like it was just like let's show off Jugram's Shrift before, his fight with Ryu.
Yeah, definitely.
Just the whole thing felt weird because like they're the only two that get executed. We don't get any closure on BG9, his Shrift, whatever. Like it was so I hope they fix that in the anime, but they didn't.
Yeah, they definitely didn't. And hopefully BG9 script is like in a data book somewhere. And then like there is a weird also other weird scaling with Jurum as well. We have him showing up to like take on Shunsui. And he's like, as things are proceeding right now, the war is very even. But the thing is, at this point in time, the only thing Shunsui has proven himself is like a Robert level opponent. Like it's only until later he gets his Lily scaling. So it's like it makes things a little bit weird. with like all the successor
To
stuff.
be fair, he doesn't train in between.
Yeah,
Like I don't think he's training between that chapter when he meets Druger and like the Lily battle, especially since he doesn't even get Zen because he doesn't fight anyone.
yeah, and then like we even have like statements from like his Sonpactoro spirit, like his Sonpactoro spirit hasn't seen him in a long time, or his Bonkai spirit per se. Like if there's like a distinction between the two.
Yeah. Well, there's a statement that everyone trains, so he could have trained in other ways besides like
Yeah,
Zanpakuto meditation, but the jump was still kind of weird, right? I think it's more so due to mental, if anything.
it probably
The way
is.
he kind of takes it casually at the beginning of the Robert fight, and then at the beginning of the Lily fight, he's like, "I'm the Captain Commander." Like, it seems more to do with like mental, than like necessarily massive physical boost.
Yeah, definitely. And I think even Zaya and some of those guys argue that he doesn't even train at all, and like he stays the same strength between every arc, from memory.
No, that's just not. I mean, he does. Yeah, Zay does say, it, but it's just not. Sark and Lily are not the same power level.
Yeah, definitely. And we also have the fact that Urur got named the successor over Jurgrim, but this specific tactic York is doing is to cause unrest in the ranks, to cause the scrutiny of the lower ranks on Urur, so Urur doesn't make a move. Because like we go to a lot of times where Basby's like, "What the hell are you doing, Jurgrim? Like not doing anything." And you know, obviously I said it earlier about the whole situation about Basby Basby's encounter with Jurgrim. And Jurgrim like states it more explicitly later why Ewok is doing this, and Ewok also he implies it, but he doesn't directly state it. Because Jurgrim, not Jurgrim, Uru asks why you doing it like you did, because like it'll cause scrutiny in your ranks. That's the scans I'm posting right now. Ewok's Ewok answering that question. And now the ones I'm posting right now is where Jurgrim talks about the scrutiny in the ranks. And the point of this is like if the successor is like definitively like above all of them, it doesn't really matter if the lower ranks have scrutiny of them, because like if they do try anything, I mean Uru just puts one arrow in them immediately. And you know, there goes the snitch essentially. That's the scans I'm posting right now. Oh, I went a little bit ahead of myself. Actually, yeah, I'll post that one as well, because it talks about the scrutiny of the ranks. Jurgen goes, "How careless of me to allow him to act alone after all this. Without the Sternritter here, nobody is here to keep an eye on him, and if he was accepted into the Royal Guard, it would have been easy for him to be trusted with a solo mission." Now, onto the Quipkey there's a bit of a strange relationship between Uru and Quickie. Like Quickie knows of Uru's like skill. Ichigo just got done blocking Quickie's attack. Quickie then goes, or Kurge. I don't necessarily know how everyone prefers to say it. But Kurge managed to block Kurge manages to shoot an arrow at Ichigo, but Ichigo blocks it by straight up catching it with his hand, and he throws his sword down. And then afterwards, Quickly then shoots 5 arrows, and then Ichigo then blocks it with a strike from his blade, which I believe is an energy blast, not necessarily even a Getsugo. Quickly then goes, my Helic Piffle, how they say it. His holy arrows were dodged, brushed away, and shot back at me with your bare hands. My luck and skill makes me dizzy. And then Ichigo then says, compares Quickly's arrows to Uryu's, and Uryu then. Well, Quickly then talks about Uryu's arrows that they can't be weaker than mine. That cannot be. So, like, at best, Uryu's arrows is the strongest Quickly's, but it could be more. It could be more, but we don't necessarily have evidence for it being more. So there's like a bit of a relationship between the upper ranks and the lower ranks, where not the upper ranks aren't necessarily above the lower ranks.
To be fair, that was Uryu before drinking Yuha's blood. So
Yeah, but at this point he doesn't. That's definitely true, but at this point, this is when he gets named the successor as well. Like he gets named
I know,
successor
no,
even
but
before he drinks the blood.
true, but no one
Yeah,
agreed with that decision. So it's kind of like, okay, he was named successor, but power level wise, he was, you know, not super strong
yeah,
pre-shift.
yeah, definitely. But at this point, it's like he was named like over Drugrum, and Drugrum was like meant to be like the the strongest thing ever.
Yeah, Basby even says like no one would have complained if you were named.
Yeah. And now like a complete nobody basically just got named over him. Hey Noya.
How's it going, Blaze?
Hello. Hello.
How you doing? Would you like to
Good
say
thing.
hello to my stream?
Oh, hello, stream. It's me again.
Noya or Blaze. Whichever one you're going by now.
I go by many names. Call me whatever you like.
I'm you.
Now this is
One
where
of Joe. I'm just one. I'm just another one of Joker's disciples. That's all.
we're all fans of Joe over here.
Anyway, what are you streaming?
I'm doing the elite guards deductively above the lower ranks.
Regular sternritters.
Deductively.
Okay.
What I'm
Yeah,
doing.
also,
Keep going.
sorry, since you mentioned that stat wise as well, you can argue that like a lot of them, especially in base, aren't above.
Yeah.
Because we see like Basby can hold his own against like Renji and Rukia. You know, Drugrum calls him. You know, he thinks Basby could have been chosen, and we know Basby has like doesn't really have hacks. But you know, Renji and Rukia can later then fight. You know, base Gerard. So base versions of Elite Guard are like without hacks aren't necessarily like above characters like Basby, who's also you know you have people like Lil Todos getting to him. So.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I mean, people like a person like Roy existing kind of just breaks that whole thing. I mean, Roy kind of outscales all of them.
Royd's kind of an exception. Okay, I think it was weird that you had threw him away, in my opinion.
Well, it's
Like
because
if
his
he had
script didn't
like a
have any use. It just he
well,
had
Not
to high
necessarily.
stats.
well, if he had like a Shikayama level like if he had a Shikayama level, you know, ally, I think that's like pretty useful. But you just threw him away.
At the end, power wasn't really the asset that he was looking for. I mean, he was already
Yeah,
at,
just a tricky
after the
Yama.
first
Yeah, I
invasion.
get it. I get it.
After the first invasion, like even during the first invasion, the Quincy's were still a lot stronger than the Kunigami were. So he didn't really need another asset that was Fikayama level.
Well, the thing is, he could have actually had 3 people because, like, even Lloyd could like copy like York's power 100%.
Maybe you was an idiot.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it would be a funny
Deductively.
idea. First invasion, there will be 3 Yorks running around. Shika Yamamoto might actually have a headache. Where did it all come from? Wait, was the one they killed a long time ago a doppelganger?
It's possible. I mean, there's many things, but like, can't really plug a controller to his ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. No, I guess this is kind of getting to the free fall of the thing because talked a lot about the relationship between the thing. So it's not necessarily deductively like they're above, but they are definitely above. There's like a few exceptions here and there because like we can get into like the elite candidates sort of stuff ironically right now. Because like Baz B, Jugram implies Baz B is like should have been like chosen, but he just wasn't chosen. But the issue with Baz B, once it gets chosen, Alex, you kind of already got it out with the scaling. You can get like a lot of other Quincy's to being like elite guard candidates because like Rukia and Renji able to take on Baz B, and then like you got Asna who's able to take on Rukia, and that would mean like Asna is like an elite guard level candidate, and like Latoto calls him weak.
Well, Soda also just survives off guard.
Yeah,
You know, Burnfinger 1 from Volshining past people, she's in base.
yeah, and like all the other Femritters do as well, and so it's like now like are they all like elite guard candidates now? And it's like then you also have like Latoto saying that Pepe being there would make the fight more even against Byakuya, and that would mean like Pepe is like a elite guard candidate as well. Because like they already thought they could handle Byakuya, but they thought having Pepe there would make it like a lot easier and more even.
Okay, Pepe is a, I would say a specific case.
Yeah.
I wouldn't count Pepe amongst that because like it's using other people, like his allies against Byakuya and stuff like that. Like I wouldn't count that as like elite guard canon, but
Yeah.
I agree with everything else.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like it'll, that would definitely make it a lot weird because Zombie Kensei is like able to beat up that that Pepe, and that would mean like and Zombie Kensei will be like a weaker form of like Kensei because he was dead before he got turned into a zombie.
Yeah.
And that would mean like Mask is also a elite guard candidate because obviously he stomped Kensei and Rose at the same time. Um, I guess the group at the end, you, because of like the whole Basby finger thing, like everyone there is like meant to be like a Basby like level opponent because like they all show up as a group.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah. And then like I guess you could maybe argue Nanana isn't because he doesn't necessarily have the feats. Although you could argue he's implied to be.
No, he definitely doesn't.
Yeah.
He just gets one shot by Byakuya, and
His script can't even see through the Yoken as well.
yeah.
And then yeah. Is there anything else I need to net cover today?
The strongest enemy.
Right, might as well. I might as well do it. Durum's strongest enemy in history statement is it's very weak to me because it's history is very broad, and when something can be considered part of history is also very broad. Historians argue about that like a lot. Some historians argue that history is like yesterday. There's some historians that argue that it's like everyone there needs to be dead that participated in it before it can be like switch from a current event to history. And there are some people that argue like the last 50 years. But there are some people that argue for the last 10 years. So like it's very vague because like it definitely requires the whoever made that statement to come out with what they meant by history.
Yeah, like, do they mean 1 year before everything up until that point?
Yeah. Are they using the Tsukushima definition of past?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Um, is there any final words you would like to say?
Uh,
Or anything that any
I
other
would
league card
say
candidates that potentially are around?
I'd say the one thing I would say as far as Jugrim goes and like the league art, I would say we have to wait for the anime.
Yeah.
To like specifically catch up with the captain's fights and how it like goes, to like get a proper, you know, what to say about them, right? Because like they kind of got packed in the anime only.
Yeah.
Um, and if the fight proceeds to go the same with the captains, then like um then the squad zero doesn't really do much, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're still below the captains, and like Jugram just kind of was Jugram and Noria specifically were the biggest victims of everything and how they lost.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, we got in
We'll
the
wait and see.
trailer. We got trailer with Senjimar heavily implied that Ur is the one to be the one that breaks out.
Yeah.
And like Senjimar is obviously gonna die somehow.
I mean, they're obviously winning because
Yeah.
Kuba wouldn't just change the entire plot of the story.
I don't
But
know, maybe it does. All the elite guards just die there. That'll be horrible.
yeah,
You
hopefully
see, I'm
not.
retconning everything from the manga. Nothing is how it goes in the third call. Nah, we already
can't wait
had
for
the trailer.
I can't wait for little Toto to fight Shinsui at the end.
100%. I'll be
So far, all we know is little Toto's alive and the Elite Guard are dead. So
at the moment, yeah. But I guess because of all the foreshadowing and all that we've kind of gotten, we kind of got it alluded that they're probably coming back. Um, I guess is there anything you guys want to see from the core three, like any changes that you want from the original manga or original sources? I guess.
I'm I'm not sure how what so they said that it'll be anime only edition for Bleach, but the problem is I'm not sure what it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
Like cuz they have how many? They have 64, 74 chapters left, something like that. Um I think 70 something along those lines. I think the anime had like 611, 612. But they don't have a lot. So even if they expand the ending, expand the fights, like they still have 26 episodes left.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure how they'll go about it. Like even if they expand a lot of the fights, there's still like quite a lot of left. So I don't really know how they'll go about with the anime original content. I'm not
Yeah.
even sure what it'll be about. Maybe like like a backstory arc for the Soul King, for everyone else. I think that would be pretty cool. I wouldn't mind that, like turn back the pendulum.
Definitely.
That would be pretty cool to see. So if it's that, or like full thumbs up. I just hope it's like, the massive anime edition content we get is like worthwhile.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that because like I don't even think the elite fights are gonna be like that long. Like they might go for like 2 episodes, maybe. 3 is definitely too much, judging by the way they're
Shinsui's
Well,
pacing
definitely.
everything.
yeah, well, the Shinsui Lele fight has like 14 chapters, so that's going to be long. Ask Gerard, even though Gerard got sidelined at the end, still had like 10 chapters
Yeah,
of fighting. Askin as well. So if they extend all of that,
Unless
like
they
all of them
pull
could be
from the
like,
Grammy fight,
yeah,
which
hmm?
I don't know why you would want to do, honestly.
I guess, yeah. I wonder if they're gonna change the Lacerda versus Ewok. I wonder if they're gonna get rid of that and make Lacerda fight a different opponent.
Yeah, because they got bodied by Yuha.
Yeah,
Um, Not sure how they survived in the campfire world. That was really confusing, but
yeah.
it is what it is.
And then like obviously, yeah, Lacerda got straight up stomped. So I'm wondering if they're gonna change her opponent, but most of her content has been like unchanged so far. So I mean, there's hope, but then there's like that probably won't change it.
Yeah.
Then I think because of the skulls on like the death art paintings for Mininis and Candace, I'm hoping that they come back for core 3 with Mayuri. With the whole zombie narrative.
Yeah,
I think that might
I
be a
hate
nice
the
change to the fight.
zombie. Yeah, I hate the zombie things. It was so.
I mean, that's like kind of like the issue with Mayuri's fight is I don't see how they can make any other changes aside from that because like it was pretty decent for what it was already.
Yeah.
Oh, hi Red.
5 minutes now.
You,
Would you like to introduce yourself to the stream?
what's up, y'all? Big raid here. You know how it is.
W. I guess I might as well ask. Raid, how many sternritters do you think are like candidates in the lower ranked sternritters?
Um, oof, um, I definitely think Basby was pretty clearly a candidate.
Yeah,
And then
definitely.
and then we could look at characters that are like stronger than him.
Yeah.
So like maybe like Royd could have been one maybe. Um, Nianzel actually got
Well,
brought up, so maybe he was a candidate.
There was something going weird on that, yeah.
Lil Toto. What do you think, Raid?
Yeah, she could have been.
I think she probably is. Because I think like anyone
Like of
like
all
from
the
Asnot and up, I think is a late guard candidate.
Yeah, anything above Asnod, I agree. Because Asnod's like fighting Shika Rukia. And then Basby fights Renji and Rukia, so.
Yeah, yeah. And then like Latoto, like I guess whether you think Latoto is like way stronger than Asnot, Latoto should be because like Latoto like calls like Asnot like weak. Or implied weak.
At least weaker than herself, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And they're like looking at like Bonkai Byaku and thinking they could like do evenly with them through like statements.
Yeah.
And then like I guess whether you guys agree with it or disagree with it, Candace is able to like go toe to toe a little bit with Shikai Byakuyo at like most weakest point. I think she's probably like meant to be like an elite guard candidate because like as not like thought that like Shikai Byakuyo was like a Bonkai opponent. Well, he thought that that was like Byakuyo's Bonkai.
Yeah.
And there's like not much of a difference between like there is a difference between Shikai and base, but it's not like meant to be like a power gap. Like it's meant to be like a hacks difference. Um, I don't know about Giselle, unfortunately. Like Giselle being like a candidate. Like Giselle's physical stats. Like Giselle's like meant to be stronger than like a fair few of them, but like Giselle's physical stats, like she could barely
Bro,
take on
that
Ikuko and
Kubo,
Yamashiko.
that Kubo Tsai question is, I'm not sure what he was smoking.
Yeah, it's pure
It's kind of
cancer.
like, you know how like you shouldn't argue with the author, but then the author says and draws two different things.
Yeah.
Like if the author would go on to say like no Noitora was never ranked as the 50th Spada, I think that would be like, even though he sticks out his tongue with the rank 5, I think that would be the same thing. Because how is Giselle about physically above Candace?
Yeah, and then like you got Giselle struggling against Yamachika and
Yeah,
she's
when they figure
Bambietta
out,
before.
so you know what's funny? If you want to argue like, oh, Giselle wanted to bait them to like turn them into zombies, not to beat them up. After they figure out Giselle's secret, they like Giselle still doesn't fight Yumichika and Ikaku.
Yeah.
Instead relies on relies on Zombie Babbietta, who's like weaker than her alive self. So it's like she didn't plan to turn them into zombies after that, or at least she did, but after like they were corpses or like near death, like Toshiro. But it's like if you can do that, just do it on your own instead
Yeah,
of just
yeah.
relying on Babbietta. So I don't know, the physical, like I would understand if like you assume Giselle has an army and like her being above most of the perimeters, that's like fine. Just in pure physicality doesn't make sense.
Yeah, definitely. And then like she relies on Zombie Toshiro towards the end, and like Zombie Toshiro's like inverse scaling is like pretty bad at best. Like there are like a couple people who could argue as like the weakest captains, and like TYBW and like Kid Toshiro is like one of them.
Any Toshiro pre-Gerard fight really doesn't have anything notable.
Yeah.
He's just like Kangdu level, below Mairi, and yeah, below Baz B too.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
That was horrible fight too.
only when he
Kinda.
goes up to Gerard, he finally like gets some good feats in his Bankai and Shikai. Like he reacted to Gerard and Shikai and Bankai.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm partially freezed him.
It's probably all the death amps.
Like, so why am I echoing? Your mic.
That's Alex Monkey.
My bad. But yeah, yeah. So it's kind of like I don't know. Kubo was on some crack.
Yeah, he has to be. Because ironically, after Giselle's like the issue there. Like after that following, it's like Minius. Yeah, it's fine. Minius lasted like a long time in the war, and then like so obviously he took her out.
Yeah, and
She's
also
fine.
her whole thing is power. So it's like, obviously physically she would be, strong.
Yeah, definitely. I guess how we all feeling about Bambietta after the rankings?
Pretty underwhelming, to be honest, and it doesn't make sense to me still
Yeah.
that Bambietta would be like below Giselle when Giselle is relying on a weaker Bambietta. It's like
I do
how to say
think.
this.
Go ahead.
Go on. I just want to say it's dumb. Don't worry. I didn't have much to add.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, what I was gonna say, um, with uh, with what you were saying, or what you guys were saying earlier about Giselle having, trouble with Ikaku, and Yumachika, I do think that could lend some more credence to the rankings potentially being Zombie Bambietta. Zombie Bambietta would be below Giselle, and then a normal Bambietta could be potentially above her. But it also very well could be in reference to just her normally. So they left it pretty ambiguous with that one. But
Yeah.
I guess we'd have to get into what makes more sense, I guess. But Bambietta doesn't really have anything that connects her to many characters, anyways. Just a fight with Komamura. Komamura doesn't fight anyone else, so.
Yeah, and if Bambietta's strike is physicality is like below like a lot of them. Komamura's not looking good being able to block some Bambietta strikes with two hands.
It's just like with Komamura, he already doesn't have much to begin with. Like all you'd be really getting for Bambietta from Komamura is like backscaling to the previous arc of FKT, right?
Yeah.
Because Komamura, all he does in Thousand Year Blood War is fight Bambietta, right? You could say maybe Komamura is better than Shinji because um maybe you could argue Shinji got blitzed by Bambietta, even though I guess there's also a fair argument for him being off guard there. But Bambietta, let's say she did blitz Shinji, and Komura can react her, so that's pretty decent. But again, with Shinji, he has nothing. So unless we're using the manga, where we're like maybe give him that feat against Baz B.
Yeah.
Um, but even that feat in itself was pretty questionable. So
Yeah, because always he's using his hacks on it, and you could necessarily
yeah.
get good better feats than you could normally do with hacks.
when I looked into it, the best thing I saw him perform, I think, was just a reaction speed feat. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
And then if
Even
like,
then,
keep going.
even then Bambietta above Basby, you could argue like the other Femrays are above Basby anyway. So
Yeah, yeah. And then like at best, like you could maybe do like if you try to do like the somehow Shinji's scales to like Bonafinger free Basby, that doesn't necessarily
yeah.
help when like ball staining Basby is probably above free finger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because yeah, it was. I think it was just base. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like not looking good for that. And I guess like
Yeah.
keep going.
Unfortunately, even with Bambietta's good ability, she didn't really get too much amazing feats. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
especially since she dies pretty early. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
then she gets used as a puppet later by Giselle.
And then in her zombie form, the feats aren't really helping too much. So
Yeah, it turns out struggling against Ikiku and Yamachika and
Myri,
yeah.
And Charlotte.
Don't
yeah,
forget
and
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
I like how Charlotte's not the first thing named.
Yeah,
I don't think
sometimes
there's anything. I don't think there's anything written or said either about like, oh well. Unfortunately, these zombies are weaker than their original counterparts. I mean, maybe it's implied, or maybe we just want to assume that. But like, I don't. Is there any? I don't think there's anything ever even said by Giselle or even Mayuri. Like, it kind of sucks that these
Giselle,
things are weak.
but Giselle's zombies have some at least one argument for being weaker. But
Yeah.
Myri's zombies might very well be stronger.
Yeah, he's putting stuff
Well,
inside of him. Yeah.
stronger than the zombies, but not stronger than their original selves.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So zombie
Myri
can,
seems to
yeah.
like so zombie Charlotte should be above regular FKT Charlotte.
Uh-huh.
I think I could there probably is something that connects maybe Bambietta to Yumachika to like Thousand Year Blood War Charlotte, and this would be like a stronger Yumachika, but I'm not even sure if Bambietta has feats on Yumachika, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I just thought the zombies from Myri should be stronger because, well, we don't have anything saying that they are weaker, and then he seems to be like enhancing them with like different like things inside of their body.
Yeah, and then they'll just make things like really like a lot weirder if like somehow Mayuri is now relying on like basically extremely weak.
Yeah, like not even a spot level
Yeah.
like Charlotte.
Yeah. And then like and then yeah, but essentially my that basically killed my brain. Imagine Charlotte. Weaker than the previous self, not even a Sparta level yet. How we feeling about Mask? League candidate.
I don't I don't know.
I mean, he got one shot by Renji, so it's kind of.
Yeah.
If you need to be Basby level or above, then I don't think so.
Maybe it would have helped
Let's
if
see.
like Renji was like, "Oh, Rukia, I'll handle this. You're too weak for him." But Renji doesn't even say that. He just says, "Oh, you can go on ahead. I'll be able to take on this guy."
Yeah,
Or
Yeah.
if
Rukia
or if
just
Mask
backs
was
him.
Yeah. Also, Mask without like at least in the first invasion, Mask if he doesn't get any buffs, which I don't think he will against Asnod, he kind of loses badly to Asnod. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
In the they changed how the Senbon Sakura thing went in the first invasion, where like instead of being off guard that the ground is weaker, as Mask just cannot get out of the way before falling down.
Yeah, definitely.
And then Aslan can just like take all the Shikai from Renji plus Byakuya combo
Yeah, yeah.
with Blood. So I would say he's not beating Basby. He's not beating Aslan in a 1v1.
Yeah, definitely. I guess a lot of people were gonna be upset by that. Mask beat 2 captains, but like at best, that like gives him like stock scaling, like some degree of stock scaling. That's essentially it. And then like even if you like still many and give him like the they destroy the Oaken feat, which I don't think he necessarily does, but at the end, like even if you give him that, that's like a base Candace level feat at best.
Yeah.
So things are just aren't looking too good. Are there any other stone ritters I need to cover? I'm thinking in my head. Because Kandu's obviously not, because like he did kind of get like offed like weekly because like he kind of got poisoned. So like obviously like the feats he's gonna be showing is gonna be possibly lower than what he should be doing, but it's like he doesn't get any like good feats. And fighting Tashira is not exactly that good. We don't even know BG9 script and beats up Silifon, and all people don't even like Silifon. Like people treat Silifon extremely weakly.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't get BG9 or Silifon above the rest of the people. The rest of the captains all
They really they just fight each other.
yeah.
Legit, no one else. Like Omaida, yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Omaida doesn't have anything on anyone.
I guess it kind of makes it worse because like towards the end, Armada was able to get a few feats on BG9, so like that probably makes it like way rougher than what it should be. As much as I like Silifon.
For some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, some days I feel like I forget that reason. Some days. um
Disliked by everyone in the community, just like you.
Sad face. I feel horrible now.
Aww.
Are there any other stoners I need to cover? Because we kind of got into the elite guard candidate area.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, sure. Cool. Koge, let's find out. Do you guys have Koge elite guard candidate or no?
Based on Camphor World, no.
And it's like maybe if you try and hinge him off the full bring Ichigo stuff. Like depends on how high you have full
Yeah.
bring Ichigo, yeah.
No, it's not just full. It's that version of full bring Ichigo versus the one who fights Yuha are not the same. That's a problem.
Yeah.
If they were, then you can wank him really, really highly, but
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then what kind of like makes it like rough is that like the Bambis think they could do a better job than he can.
yeah.
Like it's why I don't necessarily have him like elite guard candidate, but I know some people probably will, especially like Mizuto.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just checking. Lloyd. Nianzel probably was like candidate, or there was definitely something special going on. How we're feeling about Grammy? Because like depending on who you're asking, everyone has like Grammy
Yeah,
everywhere. Yeah.
yeah. He definitely is, but okay, he's never going to be a special. Like he's never going to be a candidate just because of his like, I would say maturity maybe.
Yeah. Because he did kind of just because he was losing one fight, tried to blow up the whole place essentially.
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, if the majority of the Sternritter already are wary of Remy and how much he could fuck things up, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Yuhabak wouldn't even. Well, he was still at the fucking in the battleground when Gremmy's fighting, but unless Yuhabak knowing that like no matter what Grammy does, it wouldn't damage him, then I guess he just wanted him for just the pure destruction. But for actual practicality for what needs to be done up in the royal palace, again, if everyone thinks he's a liability, I'm sure Yuhabak has some
No, I'm
basis on
sure.
what he thinks about Grammy and what he would be useful for.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I guess like he definitely probably has early guard potential, but it's probably got like the big risk factor is to it. We've done mask. Jerome, we don't even need to talk about. Berenice, we don't even need to talk about. Um, like obviously I'm not in the boat of thinking Minius over Candace, but I know you guys probably do. But Minius just gets up to elite guard candidate that way. Driscoll, we don't even need to talk about. How are you feeling about Robert Alcatron? Like, does his new feats justify him being elite guard?
No.
Asking
I
that
don't think it's
question is the
far
part
away,
of your
but
career that's like you're a hack
Yeah.
just by asking.
I guess yeah, unfortunately. I mean,
Raid used to be the biggest Robert Aquatron scaler
yeah.
out there.
All right, how you think about Robert Alcatron?
With Robert, there's only two things. One, he's garbage. Or two, since we didn't get stronger, and he scales to Lily.
Yeah. That's the only way about it, I guess.
Yeah.
Talked about Pepe already. Beach and we already talked about. Quickie we talked about. Kanju we talked about. Basby we talked about. Butter we talked about. Asnot we talked about. Bambietta we definitely talked about. I mean Askin's already like yeah. We talked about everyone. Alright. Are there any final words? That was a nice little stream.
nope.
Is there anything you guys got like final word or anything you want to cover or any like last words essentially on this topic?
Frankie, right?
Pass on my end. Pretty
I'm
thorough
good.
examination.
Yeah.
I'm good.
What?
All right. I guess I'll end it off here. It's been a nice stream. That concludes the 4th episode of the 10 Shadows podcast. I'm your host. Alex, would you like to say goodbye? I'll just go down everyone.
Bye bye, everybody. It was nice talking to you all.
Frankie, would you like to say goodbye?
Not at all.
Beautiful. Ray, would you like to say goodbye?
Peace out,
You
y'all.
already fell asleep.
No, no, no.
Alright, goodbye everyone. I'll see you in the next live stream next week.